Hi, this is a quick tutorial video on how to use attacktimer.com. Attacktimer.com is a website that lets you coordinate timed attacks in Stronghold Kingdoms. We're going to go ahead and get started here. On the main page, navigate to attacktimer.com, click on Get Started. Now, AttackTimer lets you coordinate with your friends actually to launch attacks on an enemy target. So if you've got a faction and you'd like to have 5 or 6 different people coordinating an attack on one target, you can do that easily with attacktimer.com. Simply type in a password that you'd like to use. I'm going to use password. And the site will generate a unique URL. You can share this URL with other people along with the password. They'll be able to log in and actually add their own waves to the attack. So you can have multiple people adding waves, and the site will keep track of when everybody needs to launch. On the attack setup page, which is where we are now, there are really 3 things that you need to be worried about. One is the target. And this is really only important if you're coordinating attacks. If you're attacking by yourself, you probably know what your target is. I'm going to go ahead and set the target here though for poor sap. Probably the most important thing on this page is the wave interval. The way the wave interval works is it's the amount of time between your attacks landing. So Army 1 will land 20 seconds before Army 2, which will land 20 seconds before Army 3. In most cases, you're going to want this to be 0, especially if you're attacking by yourself. So when it's set to 0, that means all of your armies will land on the target at exactly the same time. In most cases, that's what you're going to want it to be, so I'm going to set mine to 0, click the set interval button. I can't remember if I set the target, so I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. The third thing you need to be concerned about on this page is actually setting up the attack itself. So in this bottom section here, I'm going to put in my name, and the reason we have this box is, again, if you're coordinating with multiple players, you can keep track of whose attack is whose. The village from which I'm going to send the attack, I'm going to call it creatively village 1. Can't type tonight. And then the travel time in hours, minutes, and seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and make this one 15 minutes and 10 seconds. If I'm using a card, I can go ahead and select which card I'm using, and the site will automatically do the time calculation for you. Especially if you're coordinating with other people, you'll probably want to go ahead and select the type of wave that it is. And what I like to do here is put in that I'm sending 90 cats, 100 pikes, and 230 archers, just so that if there's other people coordinating the attack with me, they kind of know what I'm sending and in what order. Click Add Wave. You can see now that wave is added here in the middle section. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple more just for example's sake. You can see it's actually pretty easy and pretty quick to add waves. And we'll do one more just for an example. I'll make that 29 minutes, 18 seconds. Okay, so I've got 3 waves in here. I'm going to go ahead and click Save Refresh Waves now. Up to this point, none of the other people that happen to be logged into this URL can see my waves. And that's so that I can go ahead and get them set up, order them in the order that I want them to be. If I messed up something or forgot to change the village name, I can delete it and restart it, and people aren't getting confused with what's going on. Once I've got my attack set up the way I want it, I'm going to go ahead and hit Save and Refresh Waves. And you can see it refresh there, and now at this point anybody who logs into this attack will be able to see these 3 waves. I want to talk real quick about the up and down arrows. Because I have my wave interval set to 0, the up and down arrows really aren't going to do anything because every attack is going to land at exactly the same time. If, however, I had the wave interval set to, say, 1 second, then I could use the up and down arrows here to determine which attack hit first, second, and third. You may want to do that if you have a really heavy catapult attack. You might want it to be first, and you might have one that's all archers that you want to be second, and heavy pikes that you want to be third, for example. And if that's the case, then you can use the up and down arrows to do that. Once you've got everything in the order that you want it to be in, go ahead and click Start Attack. It's going to let you know that this action can't be undone, so at this point, if you screwed up after you hit OK, you're going to have to redo the attack. Once you click OK, the page is going to refresh. And now we're on the attack launch page. The attack launch page is going to basically give you countdown timers. The launch in column is what you're really concerned about. It lets you know how long you have to launch the next attack. So the rows that are blinking red because they need to be launched in less than 5 minutes. We also have the ability to check the enable flashing and the enable sound. If you check the enable sound box, it will actually play that really annoying clown horn anytime that you have an attack that needs to be launched in less than 5 minutes. That can be useful, although annoying, if you want to minimize your browser or have it in the background while you're doing something else. Sometimes you might be launching an attack that has quite a bit of time between the waves and you don't want to sit and stare at the flashy boxes. So once you've set up your first attack in the game, go ahead and launch it. Come back here, click the red checkbox here. You can see that that will turn green and that one will stop flashing, and now you have a countdown timer here telling you exactly how long you have until you need to launch the next attack. Go ahead and watch that count down. This is your time to get set up in the game for the next attack. Once that gets down to exactly 0 seconds, you'll want to hit this checkbox. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video so you don't have to watch 3 minutes of counting down, and we'll be right back. As you can see, the second box is now blinking red because it's less than 5 minutes before I have to launch it. I'm going to go ahead and pretend like the next minute and a half has gone by, and we're going to launch this attack. Waves launched, refreshing page, and now you've got one attack left. It needs to launch in 11 minutes. Once that countdown timer gets to 0, go ahead and click that button and launch it, and your attack is now complete. And that's it. That's how you use attacktimer.com to launch multiple attacks from different villages and different travel times on a target and have them land at exactly the same time. We have a full how-to if you're not familiar with doing timed attacks. We have a full walkthrough that's about 15 minutes long that actually walks you through the whole process. Feel free to watch it. We've linked to it here on the site. Thanks and happy hunting.